quiet hum of a late-night scroll, where the glow of screens casts shadows on tired eyes, there exists a digital abyss, a place on Google Earth that defies logic, a town with no name, no coordinates, and no escape. Those who stumble upon it speak of streets that twist back on themselves, shadows frozen in time, and a flicker in the windows that watches back. Once you find it, it finds you, and it never lets go. It began with a whisper in the dark corners of the internet, a Reddit thread buried deep in creepy, titled simply, "Found a town on Google Earth that shouldn't exist." The original poster, You Static Wanderer, described a late-night binge of exploring satellite maps, zooming into forgotten corners of the world. They were looking for nothing in particular: abandoned amusement parks, hidden military bases, or maybe just a glitch to screenshot for karma. Instead, they found it. The town appeared unremarkable at first glance: a grid of streets, a cluster of low-rise buildings, a water tower, and a scattering of trees. But something was off. The map refused to load fully, stuck at a pixelated resolution, as if the satellites themselves were reluctant to peer closer. The streets had no labels. No nearby cities appeared for reference. Zooming out far enough showed only a gray void where the surrounding landscape should have been, as if the town existed in a bubble, severed from the rest of the world. Static Wanderer posted a screenshot, but it was blurry. The details smudged like a photograph left in the rain. They described clicking through the streets in Street View, only to find themselves looping back to the same intersection after every turn: left, right, straight. It didn't matter. The same faded barber shop with a cracked window, the same rusted mailbox tilted at an angle, the same shadow of a man standing on the corner, motionless. Always there, always the same. The thread exploded with replies. Some users called it a rendering error, a glitch in Google's algorithms. Others shared their own stories of finding the town, each account eerily similar. The loop-in streets, the unchanging shadows, the flicker in the windows that seemed to pulse the longer you stared. One user, You, Map Drifter, claimed they'd seen the same man in the shadow, his face obscured but his posture rigid, as if waiting for something or someone. The internet did what it does best. It turned the anomaly into an obsession. Forums sprang up, dedicated to hunting the nameless town. Discord servers buzzed with users sharing coordinates that never worked, screenshots that vanished from their drives, and theories that grew wilder by the day. Some called it a digital haunting, a remnant of a failed Google Earth update, trapped in a recursive loop. Others speculated it was a government experiment, a simulated town hidden in plain sight to test surveillance systems. A few, the ones who posted late at night when the world felt thin, suggested it wasn't a glitch at all, but a tear in reality itself, a place where the digital and physical worlds bled into each other. One user, You, Crowded Void, claimed to have hacked into Google's servers to trace the town's data. They found fragments of code that didn't belong, lines of nonsensical text embedded in the map's metadata, words like eternity and watcher repeated in patterns that made no sense. The data stream cut off abruptly, and Crowded Void's account went silent. Their last message was a single line: "It knows I'm looking." Theories weren't enough for some. A small group of urban explorers, calling themselves the Loop Breakers, vowed to find the town in real life. cross-referenced satellite imagery, weather patterns, and even the shadow's angles to estimate its location. The most promising lead pointed to a remote stretch of the American Midwest, a flat expanse of fields and forgotten highways. The Loot Breakers posted their plans: a road trip, a drone, and a live stream to document their journey. They set out in late October, when the skies were heavy with gray clouds, and the air carried a chill that sank into the bones. The Loot Breakers stream began innocently enough. 3 of them, Ellie, Marcus, and Sam, piled into a van, their faces lit with nervous excitement. The chat buzzed with hundreds of viewers, some cheering, others warning them to turn back. The first few hours were mundane: gas station stops, bad coffee, and banter about whether they'd find a glitch or a ghost town. But as they drove deeper into the Midwest, the mood shifted. The GPS began to glitch, recalculating routes in circles. The radio crackled with static, even when tuned to dead air. By dusk, the van's dashboard clock froze at 6:13 p.m., though the sky outside was already too dark, as if night had fallen hours early. They reached a dirt road that wasn't on any map. The signpost was blank, its metal surface rusted to a dull gray. Ellie, the group's unofficial leader, checked her phone, but the Google Earth app refused to load, crashing every time she tried to open it. Marcus, the tech expert, flew the drone overhead, but its feed showed only static, interspersed with the brief glimpses of a grid-like pattern that matched the town's layout from the screenshots. Sam, the skeptic, laughed it off, insisting it was just a bad reception, but his voice trembled, and his eyes kept darting to the horizon, where the fields seemed to blur into a haze that swallowed the light. The stream cut out abruptly at 9:47 p.m. When it resumed, the van was parked on a street that looked impossibly familiar. The barber shop, the mailbox, the shadow of the man on the corner. The chat exploded with panic, viewers typing in all caps, "You're in it." Ellie's face was pale, her breath visible in the cold air. "This isn't right," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the stream. "We didn't drive here. We were on the highway, and then..." She trailed off, staring at the flicker in the barbershop window. Marcus grabbed the camera, panning it across the street. The buildings were old, their paint peeling, but they were pristine in their decay, as if time had stopped decades ago. The street lights buzzed faintly, casting a sickly yellow glow that didn't reach the shadows. Sam tried to joke, but his words caught in his throat when he noticed the man in the shadow move, not toward them, but away, disappearing around the corner. They followed, their footsteps echoing in the silence, only to find themselves back at the same intersection. The barber shop, the mailbox, the shadow now standing closer, its head tilted slightly as if listening. The stream lasted another hour before it cut out for good. In that time, the Loot Breakers documented their attempts to escape. They tried every street, every alley, but each path led back to the same point. The buildings never changed, but the details grew stranger. A newspaper on the ground was dated July 10th, 2025, the current date, but its headlines were gibberish, a jumble of letters that seemed to shift when read. The flicker in the windows grew more pronounced, revealing brief glimpses of shapes, hands, faces, eyes that vanished when stared at directly. The air grew heavier, thick with a metallic tang, like blood or rust. Ellie's composure cracked first. She screamed at the camera, demanding to know why the town wouldn't let them leave. Marcus, ever the problem solver, tried to mark their path with chalk, but the marks disappeared as soon as they turned away. Sam, the skeptic, stopped talking altogether, his eyes fixed on the shadow that now appeared at every corner, closer each time. Its features still obscured, but its presence undeniable. The last frame of the stream showed the three of them standing in the intersection, the camera shaking in Marcus's hands. The shadow was behind them, no longer on the corner but steps away, its head tilted at an unnatural angle. Then, darkness. The internet erupted. The Loop Breakers' disappearance became a viral phenomenon, their final stream downloaded and dissected frame by frame. Some claimed to see words in the static, phrases like "stay out" or "it sees you." Others swore the shadow moved in ways no human could, its limbs bending at impossible angles. A few brave or foolish souls tried to find the town themselves, but none succeeded. The coordinates shared by the Loop Breakers led to empty fields, and Google Earth showed no trace of the town, as if it had never existed. But the stories didn't stop. New threads appeared, each more unsettling than the last. A trucker claimed to have driven through a town that matched the description, its streets looping until he blacked out, waking up miles away with no memory of how he got there. A hiker posted about finding a rusted mailbox in the middle of a forest, its base surrounded by footprints that led nowhere. And then there was You, a Static Wanderer's final post, rediscovered months after the Loop Breakers vanished. It wasn't on Reddit, but on an obscure forum, time-stamped hours after their stream ended. It read, "I went there. I saw it. The town isn't a glitch. It's alive. The streets, the shadows, the flicker, they're all part of it. It knows when you're looking. It knows when you're close. I walked the same sidewalk, saw the same man over and over. He wasn't a man. He was me, my shadow, my face. But it wasn't me. Don't look for it. Don't let it find you." The post ended with a warning. The file is still live. It's waiting. The town remains unfound. Its existence a digital ghost story that refuses to die. Google has never acknowledged it, and searches for the town's coordinates yield nothing but error messages. Yet the stories persist, whispered in late-night chats and shared in cryptic posts. Those who claim to have found it warn of the same signs. A map that won't load, a street that loops, a shadow that watches. Some say it's a glitch, a forgotten piece of code trapped in Google servers. Others believe it's something older, something that found a way into the digital world. A predator lurking in the pixels. Zoom in too far and your screen will freeze. Try to pin it and it slips away. Search for it and it searches for you. On a quiet night in July 2025, a new post appeared on Creepy from an account with no history. It contained a single image, a blurry screenshot of Google Earth showing a familiar intersection, the barber shop, the mailbox, the shadow. Below it, a single sentence. I found it again, and this time it spoke. The post was deleted within minutes, but not before a user in the comments claimed to have saved the coordinates. They promised to share them soon. They haven't posted since. The town is still out there, waiting in the void of the digital map. Its streets are endless, its shadows eternal, and somewhere in the flicker of a window, it's watching, waiting for the next soul to take a wrong turn.
End of file. 0 by 17A. Signal strength fading Memory fragments remain unresolved. If you found this transmission, you were not supposed to. New archive decryption begins soon. Subscribe to Stay Linked. Until then, forget what you saw.